Okay, thank you guys for coming for the webinar for our Salt Lake County's Center of Opportunity Partnerships. We appreciate your taking the time to learn more about the program and also learn more about how your organization can potentially partner with us on this. We currently have on the call, and I'll actually do some introductions up at the top. So myself, my name is Cleopatra. I am the manager for the small business program here at the county and manage the Small Business Assistance Program, Center of Opportunity Partnerships. And we are excited to have the 2024 year starting and to look at what we can bring in access and opportunity to the small businesses here in Salt Lake County. I will take it and turn it over to Kirsten to introduce herself.
Hi, thanks, Cleopatra. I'm Kirsten Swinyard, Acting Economic Development Director. Work pretty closely with Cleopatra and the co-op team on this program, and excited to see what our proposers bring or applicants bring in this RFA. And I will just be the jerk who says I can only stay for the first half hour. Apologies, you'll see me drop off at some point, but Cleopatra will help you out with all your questions after that.
Thank you. All right, and then I'll turn it over to Cassidy to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Krantz. I am going to be the person who does all of the sort of like data keeping, Smartsheet troubleshooting, all of that sort of stuff for co-op, and I'm excited to see all of the applications and who we'll be working with in this coming year.
Thank you, Cassidy. And then I will turn it over to Teresa to introduce herself.
Need to unmute. Just can't get used to that. Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Young with Salt Lake County Contracts and Procurement, and I'm just here to help out with any procurement questions along the way. Thank you, Cleopatra.
Thanks. We appreciate you being here.
You bet.
Cleopatra, will you hit record?
It should be recording. I believe that Rob said it was auto recording.
Perfect. Okay, just double checking. Thank you.
Yep, it's in progress. Thank you for the reminder, though. Okay. All right. So to tell you a little bit more about our co-op program, well, I'll give you an agenda overview. So first, we're going to review the program, give you an idea of what's coming for 2024, and then give you some application. And then give you an program timeline and the RFA timeline. So RFA stands for Request for Applications.
Hey, Cleopatra, I'm sorry to do this, but your audio is fading in and out. So we're only hearing about half of what you're saying. You're coming in and out.
If there's anything I can adjust. I'll take it off of my headphones to see if maybe that will help, and you can let me know. Does that help at all?
Let's give it a try. I'll chime in again if it seems to still be happening.
All right, thanks. Okay, so the program. Okay, and then we'll have a question and answer at the end. So we do ask that you hold all of your questions towards the end, so that way we can make sure that we're able to get through everything. We know that you will have likely a lot of questions for us, and we are happy to get to all of your questions, but we just want to make sure that we get through all of the information so you can ask those questions all at once. So co-op is a ARPA funded initiative. that's American Rescue Plan, and that is where we got the majority of our funding for launching this program. It was originally launched last year, June, so we are now into our second year of running the program, and this is our second, actually our third set of contracts for the program. The first last year, 2023 contracts will run through the end of December, and this next set of contracts will go from the first quarter of 2024 until the end of 2024. The program itself, however, goes until 2026 as is. It may go longer depending on how things go though. And it's really exciting to have the program, and the reason why the county has decided to have a program such as this is to be able to have, well, one, we recognize that during the pandemic, a lot of lower income and diverse communities within the county were experiencing barriers to access when it came to how to navigate a lot of the things that we were experiencing during the pandemic. But then also with the knowledge that that's something that had been occurring prior to that. It was not something that was new, but it was something that was really exacerbated and had a light shine on it during the pandemic. But that's also a trend that businesses have faced for a long time, and we know that they'll continue to face that afterwards. So the county decided, how do we look at being able to assist these businesses in being able to be more sustainable and to have more readiness for growth? So the program came about as that. And then additionally, we know that small business ownership is a key to wealth building and overcoming intergenerational poverty. When we look at how we access economic opportunity within our communities, the ability to have businesses within those communities that are owned and operated by members of those communities is really integral within being able to bring access to the economic opportunities that we have in this state. Utah is a state that is actually known for its entrepreneurialism. It actually has recently gotten rated #1 in the country. So how do we bring that access to all of the community and make sure that the entire community within Salt Lake County is receiving equitable access to those opportunities? And that is really what spurred the opportunity to have this program here in the county. Our mission is making sure that we're cultivating an ecosystem that works in unison to support the resiliency, the sustainability, the capacity, and the readiness for growth of opportunity businesses. We recognize that the businesses are not operating in a silo, and neither are we as a county. We want to make sure that we are supporting and investing in those opportunities and those systems that are already in place, but also some that may be missing. What is it that businesses are not receiving access to? If we look around, there may be services that are already available, but there is a reason why those businesses are not currently receiving access, and we want to be able to bridge that gap and fill those holes and make sure that we are contributing to the entire ecosystem of the entrepreneurial community and making it more easily accessed and more readily available to businesses that are in need. And then also the key component is making sure that the opportunity businesses have access to the resources, and we do that by providing technical assistance. So the technical assistance that we provide to those businesses is an integral part of how the program works. How it works, we partner with community-based organizations, we call them CBOs, to do outreach to the communities. It's a really important part of our program because those community-based organizations are in the communities that are in need. So they generally have relationships that are being built with those businesses and community members. So when we're looking at the county, how do we make sure and get all of the services out and make sure that this is communicated out? We cannot communicate to everyone, but we know that those community-based organizations are integral within their communities, and they have access to be able to make sure that that information gets disseminated out. So we partner with the community-based organizations to do outreach to the opportunity businesses. And those opportunity businesses then are referred to service partners within our network. And our service partners then provide services that the opportunity businesses may have otherwise been lacking, may not have known how to access the resources, or there may have been a barrier to accessing them. So that is how the ecosystem that we have organized currently works within our program. Now, rolling into the highlights for the application, which is why you are all here. So the eligibility criteria for the organizations, like I said, there are two separate applications. We have an application for our outreach. We have a separate application for our service partners. You can apply for both, but you will need to complete both applications. If you do have an organization that feels that it would like to provide services on as well as provide outreach, there is an opportunity for you to apply for both of them, but it will require you to complete. Now, our outreach partners, the eligibility to become an outreach partner is that your organization is organized as a nonprofit and it is a community-based organization, and it is registered to do business in the state of Utah and is currently in good standing. Our service partners, those we do not have a requirement that it is a nonprofit or a community-based organization because those run the gamut of what a business needs. So that's all dependent on what we know businesses need and how those service partners are going to fulfill the needs of the businesses. So the requirements for service partners are that they're registered to do business in the state of Utah and in good standing, and that they must have the capacity to perform the services that they're proposing. If you're proposing to do services for 1,000 businesses, but you don't have the capacity to fulfill that, then that's going to be problematic because we're going to have a lot of businesses in queue and that are not actually getting access that they need. And they think that they're coming to a resource that's going to assist them, but then they get frustrated because it's not doing what they need. So as a program, we want to make sure and keep in mind that the end goal is serving the businesses. So all of the selections that we're doing is really focused on how do we best assist those businesses that are in need, whether that is the selection of the community-based partners, organizations as outreach partners, or the selection of the services. The end goal is assisting the businesses. The outreach partner role, we have a community of practice and we have those convenings regularly. And this year we had them as monthly partner meetings. Next year, they'll be considered a community of practice because the purpose of that is to have more of a holistic identity to the program, but also to have opportunities where our community-based organizations are working in with the county and with each other for different partnership initiatives. So those that would attend that would be the executive director of the organization. Outreach partner would provide a dedicated navigator. The navigator would be the one who's doing the outreach. I know that previously in the last webinar, there was a question that someone asked, can the executive director of an organization be the navigator? And the answer is yes. If your organization is smaller and you are fulfilling both roles, you can. You just have to let us know how that's going to be aligned with your time. So if you're running an organization full time and you also are going to be the navigator, you just identify how many hours you would be committing to this program. So you would provide a navigator that would work with the county and would work to do business outreach. The navigator would be required to attend the trainings that we provide at the county. They would be required to attend regularly scheduled meetings and then events that the county is collaborating on. They would conduct outreach to the opportunity businesses. They would complete an intake assessment with the business to identify their needs, and they would refer the opportunity businesses to the appropriate services that we have with the partners and conduct follow-up and business case management. The navigators have a lot of time that they'll be spending with businesses. So in addition to the outreach that they're doing, the time that it takes to be able to do the business case management and assist the business means that they're doing additional follow-up. They're doing a lot of relationship building and a lot of they're kind of like a business social worker. They're doing case management to kind of make sure that the business is not falling through the cracks. If we've referred them to a service partner and the service partner has additional information that they need to follow up on and the business isn't responsive, that navigator has a responsibility to step in and to make sure that the business understands what it is that they're missing and that they understand what the timeline is for the services that they've been provided, and make sure that that process is going along. So the navigator has a pretty big role with the business in assisting it with its success and being able to assist that business with getting access to the resource that will build their capacity ultimately. So our outreach partners are very important because they have an established relationship in the community, have established relationship with those businesses that they are giving the information to, that there is a program here at the county. But then also the navigators are important in that they are providing additional case management and relationship with the businesses to be able to guide them through the services that we have available. An outreach partner, so to give an idea for an award, the way that the applications are this year, if you're familiar with our last year applications or previous years, is a little bit different. Before it was based on a monetary award amount, and this year it is based on hours. So when you are proposing as an outreach partner, you wouldn't propose a monetary amount. You would propose how many hours your navigators would be spending on this program. So if you have someone who is already employed in your organization and they may be working 40 hours a week, but you're saying, okay, this navigator is going to work 10 hours a week on the co-op program, then in your proposal, you would put 10 hours a week. If you intend to have somebody who is working full-time, then in your proposal, you would put 40 hours a week. So the amount of hours is what your award would be. And then we would be reimbursing based off of the amount of hours that you are receiving in your award. And that navigator would be expected to work that many hours specifically on this program. Like I said, we have partners that have other programs that they run, and the navigators that are assigned to this may not be full-time. So they've requested that they have a part-time award. And if they would like to have a full-time navigator, then that would be assigned to work solely on this program in order to be able to accomplish that. So you get to choose what your organization's capacity is and what the navigator's capacity that you would be assigning to work on this program, and we would award accordingly. Now, the navigator hourly, to note, we pay $25 per hour for navigator hourly reimbursement. We do require that a minimum of $20 an hour goes to that navigator for their hourly. So if you want to pay all the way up to 25, you can, but we understand that our partners have operational costs, and also there are payroll administrative costs that are associated with that. So the minimum that you can pay the navigator who is assigned to this is $20 an hour, and you can pay more if there are other funding sources that you have outside of receiving this from the county. Then we additionally have, in addition to the navigator hourly, we have the performance compensation. The performance compensation varies, but it is roughly around 30% of the amount that would be awarded to your full contract would be for performance compensation. And the way that performance compensation works is that you're compensated based on the different levels of service partner engagement and referrals to those service partners. And we'll go into that a little bit more in depth. And then there's also administrative costs. Administrative costs are up to 5% of your contract award amount. And those can cover anything from equipment to gas to any operating costs that you see would be included in what we would deem as administrative costs. I believe there was a question on the previous webinar regarding specifically gas reimbursement. Yes, that is considered an administrative cost that can be reimbursed. We recognize that your navigators may be driving to go meet businesses and maybe going and doing outreach in person. So that is considered an administrative cost. You would then submit that for reimbursement in order to have that payment made. And then finally, the community of practice is up to $6,000. And that is for the participation of the executive directors, specifically within our community of practice. We recognize that the time that you are providing is valuable, and engaging in solving the issues that we have throughout the county is important. So we want to make sure that we are providing you compensation for the time that you are spending within those community of practice. So that is up to $6,000 dependent on the attendance at those and how much time you spend there. Now, you can put in, like I said, any range of hours that you believe that your organization can fulfill, and that is what we would look at to determine the award for your organization. So you can say 10 hours, you can say we might have an employee and a half, so that could be 60 hours. Whatever it looks like, put that into your proposal and you would request that. For the invoicing for Navigator and Activity and for our outreach partners, the way that it works, like I said, it was $25 an hour is the rate for the work done by the Navigators. We do prepay that monthly, and our prepayments are done monthly, so that way you have the opportunity to have the funding before work, because we recognize that our community-based organizations don't always have access to a lot of funding that is just laying around. So we want to make sure that this is not a financial burden for the participation in this program. So we do prepay that. Then the compensation goes down. It breaks down for the performance compensation. The way that we are compensating at this time is that for an initial orientation that's attended by the opportunity business, there would be $25 of navigation, $25 of bonus that would be available. And then for the initial consultation that's attended by the opportunity business and the navigator and the service partner, there'd be a $50 compensation. Then there is compensation for the opportunity business completing a survey at the end of receiving services from any given partner. That's $75 for the survey completion. And then because we want to incentivize new businesses that have not had an opportunity to receive the services here at the county and to be benefited by the services that we are offering, we want to make sure that we are getting out to more businesses within the community and that they also have access. So there's an additional incentive for the first services completed by a business that has not previously received access through any program with the county's small business assistance programs. So the compensation and the performance compensations, those ones are paid monthly after the completion of a service or a consultation attendance. And then the administrative costs are paid quarterly. Like I said, that's up to 5% of the award amount, and you would just submit for reimbursement for those administrative expenses on a quarterly basis. And like I said, the community of practice is specifically for the executive director attendance at our community of practice, and that's up to $6,000 for the year, up to $500 per month in attending those. Our service partners, the role that they play in the program, well, they will attend the community of practice convenings. We have less information to share with our service partners. So those attendants would look more of on a quarterly basis. They would also assist us with providing the navigators with training. And that's really important because the navigators need to understand the service that you are offering and understand what benefit that has to the business and how to convey that information. So if you're a service partner, you would be tasked with providing a training to the navigators so that they have a full understanding of what the importance of your service is and what the business needs to know about your service, when to best refer that business to it. If it's a brand new business that maybe started yesterday, it might be a little bit preemptive to get them something like a website, but they maybe need to meet with somebody who's doing legal assistance so that they can figure out how to do their business formation. So what's the timeline? How does that work? Then the navigators need to be educated on that. And because we have so many different services that are offered and each partner has different ways that they engage, you would be tasked with making sure that the navigators understand your particular service so that they can refer the businesses to you. And then also following the county outlined referral and reporting processes, we do have specific ways that we are doing the referrals. They have to come through a county community partner, outreach partner. So if a business happens to say, oh, I think that you might be a partner with the co-op program, I want to get a service. Well, that's not the correct referral process. You would need to refer them back to an outreach partner so then the outreach partner can refer them to you, or you would fulfill that service under your regular rates that you would have. And then communicating with the navigators regarding the referred businesses, because a lot of times in the pipeline, the businesses might be needing to provide you with information still. If you are working on something like their bookkeeping or they're helping them with grant writing, you might be waiting on them to provide you with some type of information. And if the navigators are not aware of that, then they can assist you with making sure that the business gives you the information that you need to finish that service. So making sure that you are having good communication with our outreach partners and our navigators is really important and is a requirement for the program. And then of course, submitting monthly invoices. We want to be able to pay you, and we want to pay you regularly. So submitting those monthly invoices, because at the end of the contract, if we don't have your payments to you, it's really difficult for us to do that. So making sure that you are on top of that and that you are doing your reporting regularly so that we know what businesses are coming through from the co-op program to receive your services. Service partner award, the way those work. So you would propose the services that you would like to be included in the program. So your organization may do a various amount of services, but you may not want to have all of the services within the program, and that is completely fine. So you just propose those that you offer that you would like to see within our program. Then you would let us know what the cost per unit is. And that unit could vary. The unit could be by the hour, depending on if it's business consulting, or it could be by the workshop, if it's a course or a workshop that the business is taking, or it could be by the service. For instance, if it is developing a business plan with the business, you may have a fee that's just for the development of that business plan. So you decide what that looks like, and then you submit to us in your proposal what the service is, give us an in-depth description of what that service is, how it's going to assist the opportunity business, and how it is that you are going to be delivering that service in a way that meets the needs of the opportunity businesses. And then, of course, the pricing of it. One thing to note, during the contract negotiations, we do have an opportunity to propose alternative pricing. If we really like your services, but it may be out of our budget price range, we may come back to you and say, hey, let's talk about the price on that, or let's talk about the way that per unit is, or let's talk about the way that particular service is. Maybe let's break that down a little bit. So that conversation might happen if you are selected as a service partner. And then the final reimbursement amount will be specified in your contract, so it will be outlined before any contracts are signed, so then you can sign that contract knowing what that service is going to be. And we do those invoices on a monthly basis, so we reimburse the month following that a service has been completed. So you may meet a business in January, but if your service is not completed with them until March, we don't pay you until April. So keep that in mind, especially if there is a service that does take a little bit of time to work through with the business. As a county, we can only pay for services completed. So to talk about the community of practice a little bit, building an ecosystem to support economic opportunity. That's what the community of practice is based upon. Participation of our partners in that is integral in order to be able to have this program work, but also in general to have continued access for, as we noted, the opportunity businesses have always had issues with accessing resources. So what does that look like for making sure that the ecosystem that we're building is contributing towards resolving that problem holistically, not just within the program at the county, but also within the access issues that are experienced with those businesses outside of it. So the community of practice is designed to enhance the ecosystem's delivery of business development programming and assistance to the communities that we serve. And the attendance at those will be all of our partners. So specifically on the executive directors for our community-based organizations and our outreach partners, that would be your CEO, your president, your executive director, however you call it in your organization. They would be attending the monthly community of practice, and those are estimated to be about 4 hours in length because of the participation that we are engaging in. There's opportunities for training as well that is specific to our community-based organizations that allows you to gain additional access to resources and opportunity for community partnership with other entities throughout the county and introductions to other entities throughout the county as well. Our service partners, that is less frequently. Those are attended quarterly, and at the beginning of the program, it will be with a little bit more frequency because we need to get those navigator trainings done and have them have a good understanding of your services that you provide. So the first few months, it'll be a little bit more frequently as you're participating in the navigator training. But then for the larger community of practice, those will be on a quarterly basis. And the navigators, their participation is the most because they are going to be the ones that are out there talking to those businesses regularly. They'll be engaging with the businesses. They'll be needing to know what that looks like, from participating with the county to participating with our services, with our service providers, and also making sure that the engagement that they have is consistent across the board. So we do have regularly scheduled navigator trainings, and we also have business check-ins that we do with the navigators. So those are some things that the navigators would be engaged in. Important dates to remember: we've already released the application. This is the second webinar today, but the applications close on October 16th at 5 p.m. That's on Monday. If you have any questions before then, Madeline Martinez, her email is on the website. You can contact her, but they need to be application-specific questions. We can't answer questions regarding your program specific. We have to be able to that are able to be generalized across the board for all applicants to have a good understanding. And then we do the selection committees where we are selecting our partners on October 25th, and we will be announcing awards to our partners and beginning contract signing on November 3rd. Our partner orientation will occur on December 14th, and then the program is set to start in the first quarter of 2024. We did introductions at the beginning. Kirsten had to jump off. So she is currently the Acting Economic Development Director here at Salt Lake County. My name is Cleopatra. I am the Economic Development Manager here at the county and manage the co-op program. And then Madeline is not able to attend today, but she is one of our program coordinators for the program. And then Cassidy is on the call, and she's also a program coordinator here. So applications, once again, they are due on October 16th at 5 p.m. It is on the website. It's on your application. If you have any questions, please let us know. But 5 p.m. is the deadline for that. And then I'm going to turn the time over to Cassidy so she can run down some of the information on how to submit the application, give you some more guidance on the submission of the application. And after that, we will open it up to questions.
Okay, thank you, Cleopatra. So as you can see right here on the first slide, again, just a reminder that applications are due on the 16th. That's next week at 5 p.m. And they're going to be, for the application, there's sort of two parts to this application. There is a fillable Word document that you're going to find located on the co-op website. And then there's a Smartsheet form that is linked on that Word document where you're going to submit the Word doc along with some other required documents. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to show you what you'll need to do. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So this is the website for co-op. You'll scroll down to the bottom. This is some more helpful information for the application. And when you're ready to complete the application, you'll just pick business outreach application or service application, depending on which one you're wanting to fill out, and you can apply for both. So let's say we're going to do a business outreach application. We'll just go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to show you a couple things that you'll see when you first open it. You'll see that you're going to have to enable editing, and it'll tell you that you're not allowed to edit the document. So you're not allowed to edit the parts of the document that we have on as the application, but you are able to edit the required answers. So you'll see that there's quite a bit of questions here, but this is all really required for us to know if the partnership between co-op and your organization is good for both parties. So you'll go ahead and you'll fill out this entire application. Everywhere where it says clicked or tapped enter text or these yes or no boxes, every bit of it needs to be filled out. We made sure it was a Word document for you so that you can take your time to fill it out, save it, open it back up again when you have a chance. Once you're done filling this application out, we ask that you go ahead and export it as a PDF, which you can do either as save as Adobe PDF or, click export. So that's the first step. Fill out this application, save it as a PDF, and then this is going to be the application on Smartsheet. So the business outreach application is going to say business outreach. It's also going to be blue. The service one is going to be green and say service. So just in case you're maybe working on both of them and you're wanting to double check, the colors are helpful, and also the titles to make sure you're in the right place. After you have filled out the Word document, you're going to fill out the Smartsheet form. Most of this is just us checking to see that you understand the requirements of a partnership with us. Sorry. And so we just want to make sure that you understand what is required in this partnership with us, so that we enter into the 2024 year with just good standing for everybody. And then once you've filled out all of this, you'll notice that there's a file upload at the bottom where you need to upload the PDF of the Word document application, which I just showed, resumes for senior leadership, resume for navigators, and if you were a co-op partner this year, your performance review. If you were not a partner this year, then this is not going to be something you need to worry about. If you were a partner this year, I have already sent out those performance reviews. So if you did not receive them from me, please reach out to me and let me know. But you'll go ahead and upload those here. If you're doing a service application, we only need that PDF application and the senior leadership resumes. There's not going to be a performance review, or of course not navigator resumes, since there are not navigators for your partnership. So after you upload the files that are required, I recommend going ahead and clicking send me a copy of my responses and putting your own email address in. That way you have a record of it as well in case anything happens funky on our that hasn't been the case, but it's always just nice to double check yourself for that. So those are the steps that are required. I'll go ahead and stop my screen. On the PowerPoint that Cleopatra has been sharing, you want to pull that back up, Cleopatra? Sorry, throwing you. I believe this PowerPoint is going to be shared with everyone who has been in attendance, and I went ahead and made some slides that have screenshots of everything that I just showed you. So Cleopatra, if you don't mind, just kind of clicking through.
And for clarification, the slides will be available on the website.
Sorry, thank you. So yeah, so this is just a quick how-to of everything that is going to be needed for the application. And then the next few slides are screenshots of all of the steps that I just walked through. So you can just click through those really quick. So if you pull this PowerPoint up from the website, you'll see so I went ahead and like highlighted and put in extra little bits of info just in case any of it gets confusing, because I know we're kind of walking through it a little bit quickly, but it's all there. And then I believe my email is also on this, but in case it's not, I'll just go ahead and put it in the chat. If you have any questions about like the Smartsheet portion, uploading all of that stuff, like any of the links or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email. If you were a participant this year, like a partner this year, and you didn't get a performance review, please send me an email. Those all went out last week, so you should have it. And yeah, that's everything for the application process.
Thank you so much, Cassidy. Okay. All right, so we went through that pretty quickly. It was a lot of information, but if you have questions, please let us know now. Unmuting and putting people on deck. But first, so in case Cassidy needs to jump on, if there's any questions relating to the application specifically, if we could go through that so that way Cassidy could. And then I believe I have to unmute you if you do have a question. So if you could just, I think there's an option to raise your hand on the attendee on the panel, for the WebEx panel. So if you do have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand and we can get to you. This seems to be a rather quiet group. Based on some of the questions that were asked in the last webinar, I'll kind of address those while anybody's thinking on what they might have a question on. But one of the questions surrounded it, are you able to apply for both? And I did cover that at the beginning. You are able to apply to be both a service partner and an outreach partner, but we're unable to pay you for services that you're referring to your own organization. So that is a caveat. At this time, we don't currently have any partners that are doing both, but you can propose to do both. You need to fill out separate applications. So if you would like to do services and outreach, it would require that you fill out 2 applications, and then you would be considered for both of those. And like I said, it is limiting in that we cannot pay our service providers for referrals that they've referred to themselves. Other questions that may have been asked in the previous one really surrounded the administrative costs. And to clarify on the administrative costs, we do administrative costs for our outreach partners. And for our service partners, though, we don't provide separate administrative costs. Those should be built into the cost of your services and the cost of doing business. So for instance, if you know that your product or your service is a certain amount, then the administrative cost should be built into that. So then you would make sure that the cost that you're proposing would be reflective and indicative of what it costs your organization to provide that service. And that can be put into your proposal. The other thing was, if there is a fixed upfront cost for something that you're proposing, you can put that into your proposal. Like, it's not something that we are obligated to reimburse, but it's something that you can put in there if you know that, for instance, in order to run a certain service, that's going to cost you maybe a certain amenities need to be acquired. Put that into your proposal so that we can know if there's upfront costs that are going to be incurred for doing that, and that can be considered within the selection committee for the cost of that. We want to make sure that we are looking at proposals that are competitive and are competitive throughout the county. What would that look like if others were providing a similar or the same service? So that way we're making sure that as a county, we're being good stewards of the public funds that we have. So that is something that we look at within the selection committee, in addition to the relevancy of this service for the opportunity business and the need that they have for it. And is it filling a gap that is being experienced by the opportunity businesses? Teresa, is there any commonly asked questions that you usually get within procurements that might be beneficial to this group?
You know, I don't know if commonly asked question, but just to, and thanks Cleopatra for asking me to chime in. Really just, we want to make sure that our applicants answer all of the questions in the application and provide all of the information. If you're a past provider, either outreach or service provider, just please don't assume that we know all that you do and are familiar with your programs. Just please make sure that it's thorough so that we can evaluate and have a very good committee meeting to be able to thoroughly evaluate the programs and what's being asked from our organizations. I didn't quite get that out, but anyway, yes, there's just kind of a tip there. Otherwise, Cleopatra, you highlighted some of the FAQ from before, but as always, we're here to continue to answer questions. I know proposal or applications are due Monday, but after you leave, if you still have other questions for us, just please reach out to Cleopatra and we'll get those answered as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And then also the other webinar is currently on the website. So if you would like to watch that, if there were any questions that you may have had, you may have already had an opportunity to watch it, but this webinar will also be posted on the website later today, and the slides are posted on the website. So if there are any questions that you have, please reach out to us before the 16th so that we can answer those for you. But we are here and available. And then I will ask one more time and just sit here in silence for a couple of minutes to make sure that we don't have anyone that has any questions. Okay. Well, thank you all for attending. We appreciate the time that you took to learn more about the program and hopefully learn how your organization is able to partner with us in 2024. And also, as you are out and about in your community, the applications are not due until Monday. So if you know of an organization that might be a good fit for the program, please share this information. We would love to have more service providers that we can consider to make sure that we are fulfilling the needs of the opportunity businesses. And then also share with the businesses that you might know, share with community members that you might know, so that they realize that there is a program that's available for their businesses that is here to help them succeed and grow here at the county. We want to make sure that we can have that impact go out to as many businesses as possible. So thank you all for attending. And if you have any questions, reach out.